Welcome to our 11th Raise Green Community Investor Day. My name is Franz Hochstrasser, CEO and co-founder of Raise Green, and we're delighted that you're here. 6 years ago, I came out of the Obama administration fresh off of helping to negotiate the Paris Agreement and intent on doing all that I could to help implement it. And I showed up at grad school with two big ideas in mind. One, how can we get more people involved in implementing climate solutions? And two, how can we get more capital flowing into the climate solutions that already exist? And years later, proud to say that we are now, we've been in operations ever since and have stood up and to try to deliver on the vision of building the largest and most inclusive online climate investing community in the world. So at the time in 2018, there's about $300 billion a year flowing into climate solutions. And after 17 months of the Inflation Reduction Act and new tax incentives and policy advancements all across the board, we're happy to be able to say today that the Climate Policy Initiative is now evaluating that $1.27 trillion per year is flowing into climate solutions. And Raise Green has been a small but mighty piece of that, which we're very proud of. But this has definitely never been about Raise Green. It has always been about you, our community members, our entrepreneurs, that we built this tool to empower so that anybody can raise capital for their climate solutions or invest directly into the innovators and entrepreneurs fighting to make sure that we leave a more healthy, just, and sustainable world for our children and for future generations. So it's not just whether we develop and deploy climate solutions at speed and scale that matters. It's also how we do it. And the folks that you're going to hear from today are doing it at the cutting edge of pushing the shift to the clean energy future that we need. They're ahead of the curve. These are businesses on the front lines of climate work, from green bonds to energy efficiency to building decarbonization to nature-based solutions to electric vehicle charging for underserved communities and off-grid power and climate adaptation. We run the gamut with today's issuers, and we're really excited to introduce you to all of them directly. They're working every day, dollar by dollar, neighborhood by neighbor, opening up access to investors and delivering equitable climate solutions that everyone can benefit from. So without further ado, we're going to be sharing various pieces of how you can invest on the Raise Green marketplace at raisegreen.com, or more specifically, invest.raisegreen.com. And we're proud to be in this fight with you, alongside you, building a more healthy, just, and sustainable future for all. So without any further delay, I will turn it over to our MC today, Kate Drain, who's Raise Green's head of growth, and she will serve as our master of ceremonies. So Kate, over to you.
Amazing. Thank you, Franz. And thank you for that welcome and introduction. Let's get going. Thank you so much for being here. Today, each issuer will share the story of their company, and it's your chance to hear directly from our issuers about how they're tackling the climate crisis head on. So first off, I'm going to provide you a little background on who we are and what to expect from today. Raise Green is a US-based funding portal with offices at Greentown Labs in Boston, and we're registered with the SEC and FINRA to sell private exempt securities. We bring investors and companies together on our marketplace, and we financed almost $8.75 million in climate solutions since launching in 2020. As the funding portal, we perform due diligence on each of the offerings before they go live. We do not provide tax, accounting, legal, or financial advice, so we encourage you to review the materials, do your own research, and seek your own counsel before making any investment decisions. Today, representatives from our 8 live projects will speak for roughly 5 minutes each. What we ask is that you please post any questions to the project page of each issuer, which we'll drop in the chat. To do this, you would log into invest.raisegreen.com and ask on the forum of the company's offering page. General investor inquiries can be directed to investors@raisegreen.com, which we also have at the end of this presentation. One thing to note, the presenters won't be talking about the specific terms and returns expected from their offerings, since you can find that information on invest.raisegreen.com. but they will tell you about what your money would go to, what they're building, and how you can make a difference by investing today. Without further ado, I am so excited to introduce you to our first presenter today, Eric Brown, the CEO and president and co-founder at H2. Eric, take it away.
Excellent. Thank you, Kate. Appreciate the opportunity to kick off today's event. I am Eric Brown. I serve as the CEO and co-founder of H2. And our company is squarely focused on accelerating the adoption of green hydrogen across the globe as a primary strategy to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Perfect, thank you. So what's the problem we're trying to address? We're focused on solving the fact that we believe that the current hydrogen value chain simply isn't scalable. Now that graphic on the left is sort of dizzying, but it's really a perfect representation of the complexities of the current paradigm. Most hydrogen today is mass produced at large central facilities, and most of it is still fossil fuel based with coal or natural gas as starting elements. Then it's either compressed as gas or hypercooled down to minus 253 degrees centigrade to make it liquid, and then it's shipped to the point of use. Now, each of those steps, from production to compression to cooling to transport, all require specialized equipment, and each of those steps has its own cost and its own significant carbon footprint. We believe this is why we haven't seen hydrogen scale to its fullest potential. This, as an example, is why the US government is pouring billions of dollars into hydrogen, including the hubs announced late last year, all to compensate for the reality that hydrogen is difficult to store and transport. Really, when you think about it, the hubs just sort of co-locate supply and demand as a means of mitigating this very problem. And yet, even with billions of dollars of investment, what's being contemplated is just far too complex, costly, and carbon intensive to scale around the globe. So contrast that to the value chain we're engineering at H2. We're proposing to address the problem in a completely different way. Hydrogen can actually be distributed bound to solids, so-called solid hydrogen carriers, that are stable at ambient pressure and temperature, rather non-toxic, and can be stored and transported using conventional cargo infrastructure. Think literally UPS and FedEx. And at the point of use, the solid hydrogen carrier is then fed into our patented technologies to produce pure hydrogen on demand where it's needed with zero carbon footprint. The byproducts of that reaction can then be recycled, and therefore we've created a closed loop ecosystem that's lower cost, lower carbon footprint, and sustainable. And also note that the highest energy elements of our value chain are all concentrated upstream in the processing and recycling steps by design. Those are coupled to renewable energy resources, further driving down the carbon footprint. So we believe this is going to be a game changer and really accelerate the adoption of hydrogen going forward as the fuel of the future. Next step, next slide. So why us? We've spent more than a year scouring the globe for the best talent and technologies to bring this ecosystem to market. It's sort of part of our ethos at H2 to create a big tent model. And what we mean by that is we want to bring experts together who might be working on a piece of this puzzle, but are doing so in isolation. By cross-linking thought leaders and novel technologies, we believe we can unlock value and advance the adoption of hydrogen like never before. Next slide. So H2 is a Delaware corporation. We have offices in Columbia, South Carolina, and London, UK, where my partner and COO, Stuart Mackey, is curating markets in the European area. And again, because the hydrogen production technologies we've curated release pure hydrogen on demand at the point of use, they can be deployed across countless use cases to decarbonize heavy industry, transportation, agriculture, and numerous other verticals, including some of the hardest to mitigate. So in comparison, again, to the complex, costly, and carbon-intensive processes driving the current hydrogen economy, the H2 solution is infrastructure light, it's lower cost, and has a much lower carbon footprint. Our solution set is scalable by design. And the key to unlocking this value is to demonstrate the recycling of solid hydrogen carriers at scale, which is also a core element of our strategy. Next slide. So what's next? We're actually planning and funding a full-scale demonstration project of the entire solid hydrogen ecosystem in the living laboratory. We've secured all the necessary technology partners and have a site identified with plentiful renewable energy resources already in place. This proof of concept project will be the first of its kind in the world and allow us to prove out the technical viability as well as model out the economics of the H2 value chain. As our ecosystems further refine, we're going to be positioned to take this solution to scale to the benefit of our investors and, of course, ultimately to the environment. Last slide. With that, I'll close. And again, I thank you for your interest today and appreciate your participation in the Raise Green offering. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you, Eric. That was fantastic. Okay, we are so excited for our next presenter. If I could please invite Hanan Levine, Head of Finance at BlocPower, to the stage.
Thanks, Kate, and thanks everybody for having me here and listening to our presentation. So like Kate mentioned, my name is Hanan Levine. I'm BlocPower's Head of Finance. BlocPower is a technology-enabled end-to-end building decarbonization solution company. Essentially, we make the extremely complex process of home electrification, spanning planning, construction, financing, and incentives, into a simple one-stop shop. Next slide, please. BlocPower is set out to solve the problem of 125 million buildings, which are responsible for 30% of the greenhouse emissions in the US. With 90% of our time spent indoors, this creates a real-life health impact on all communities. This issue has actually been linked to 13% of childhood asthma cases. We offer a building electrification as a service for property owners with a core focus on heat pumps. We use our proprietary operational and financing model to create accessibility to all communities to bring these solutions into their homes. At BlocPower, we're working to reduce emissions and improve indoor air quality, creating daily focused, community-directed impact, and new climate solution-focused jobs. Next slide, please. There we go, perfect. St. Bart Church in Wet Plains, New York is a great example of BlocPower's work and the impact that we have on the community. A little background. The church was facing an emergency from loss of heat in the middle of a gas moratorium. The church was a 19,000 square foot facility that was built in 1928. It was heated by an oversized aging boiler and portable space heater and had no AC. BlocPower came in and fully financed and installed heat pump technology to create a reliable and affordable heating and cooling source for the church. The installation had a significant impact on the church and its parish. BlocPower was able to increase the parishioner comfort during services and events, increase revenue opportunities for the church from hosting indoor events in all seasons, in summer and in the winter, and also reducing the greenhouse emissions that were impacting the parishioners within the church with its old heating and the emissions in general that the church had. BlocPower electrification measure has been implemented in over 1,100 buildings, impacting over 4,700 families. And we're here because we need your help to continue to do this important community work. So thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us.
Amazing. Thank you, Hanan. Fantastic. That story, it makes me think of my own hometown and just how powerful this type of technology can be. Next, I am excited to invite up to the stage David Beach, Senior Manager of Clean Energy Finance at Connecticut Green Bank.
Thanks, Kate, and thanks everyone for coming. I'm happy to talk to you all today about Green Liberty Notes, which are issued by a subsidiary of the Connecticut Green Bank. So diving right in, the problem, we all know that we're facing a climate crisis and we need to transition away from fossil fuels. And that's going to take a lot of investment. And we need to make sure that that investment is also equitable and as just as possible. But the problem is it's very difficult for ordinary citizens to invest in green bonds and other green investments. Often the cost for one of these green bonds is excessively high. You often need an intermediary like a broker. And the terms of green bonds are often 10, 15, 20 years, which is difficult for ordinary citizens. They're not always comfortable investing for such a long term. So the solution is our Green Liberty Notes. And on the next slide, I'll tell you a little bit more. So you can think of the Green Liberty Notes like a green CD. You invest your money, you get it back in a year with fixed interest in addition to your principal being repaid. We are not FDIC insured, but that's just a good way to think about it. We also wanted to provide investors some confidence that you're actually investing in something that is green. So we worked with Kestrel, that's the logo you see on the right side of your screen, who is a verifier who has provided an opinion that designated Green Liberty Notes as being green bonds. So you can have confidence as an investor. And we've really structured our Green Liberty Notes to be a secure investment. I can't tell you about how we've done that. You'll have to go to our offering page to learn more. There are SEC rules about what I can say. But we really went out of our way to try and make sure that our investors have confidence. We see Green Liberty Notes as being a place for you to put money that's maybe sitting in a savings account, not earning much money, or if you have a high yield savings account, a place for you to move that money at a competitive interest rate into a place that is helping the green economy. And not only helping the green economy, creating an impact. So to talk a little bit more about that effect on the green economy, I'll take you to the next slide and tell you about what these notes are supporting. So the Green Liberty Notes support the Small Business Energy Advantage Program. This is a program run by one of Connecticut's utilities, Eversource. And the program does a couple of things to reduce the barrier of entry for small businesses wanting to do energy efficiency projects. It provides an upfront incentive to reduce the cost of the measures, and also provides zero interest loans. That's right, zero interest loans for the customer, at least. Zero interest loan for the customer that can be repaid on their utility bills. What does this do? It makes it much easier for small business owners to do energy efficiency upgrades, and those upgrades allow them to save money and also save greenhouse gas emissions. So to look specifically at an example, a family farm was able to save $85,000 a year in utility bills, which is also the equivalent of 237 tons of carbon emissions over the course of the improvements. And that's also the equivalent of removing 33 cars from the road. So this is a really impactful program that your investment is helping to foster and unlock. And so if you haven't yet, we'd love for you to check out Green Liberty Notes. And we also, a really neat thing is we make sure to protect the smaller investors. So if we are ever oversubscribed, we protect those smaller investors who are really the ones we're trying to reach with this. So go to greenlibertynotes.com. I think Thomas is going to drop in the offering page here as well, and check it out and ask any questions there if you have any. With that, I will say thank you and pass it back to Kate for one of the other assurers to take the stage.
Amazing. Thank you, David. That was fantastic. Next, I am excited to call up Michael Becker, co-founder and CEO at Auburn Energy Junction / Collectron Energy. Mike, take it away.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Raised Green community. I'm Mike Becker. Collectron Energy is our company, co-founded in 2021 with Alex Hassan. We're excited to share with you a little bit more about our mission and how our fully now deployed Raised Green Climate Impact Note, Auburn Energy Junction LLC works. Next slide, please. What's the big problem? Climate change is the big problem. And one means of addressing climate change is to ensure electric vehicle charging infrastructure is readily available across the socioeconomic spectrum of multifamily housing. However, real estate owners are required to ultimately pay for this fueling infrastructure to accommodate their tenants' fueling needs. To say the least, unplanned capital expenditures, especially so required of affordable housing owners and operators, creates a barrier to successfully inviting all persons to consider making a shift from their fossil fuel vehicles. We have a solution for that. Collectron Energy specializes in capturing available rebate incentives to reduce upfront capital expenses so that our multifamily and commercial property owner customers can future-proof their communities with electric vehicle charging station amenities right away. the importance of which cannot be understated. Representative communities we are serving historically have been marginalized. Real estate owners have not invested in the latest technologies, and or these communities are located within food deserts or transportation corridors, which we all know are at higher risk to emissions-related illnesses. By bringing the electricity fueling pump to where people live, work, and stay, we aim to invite and empower everyone to possess an electric vehicle as their next mode of mobility. Next slide. A little bit more about the company. Collectron Energy is on a mission to transform clean energy by mass deploying clean energy infrastructure that we define as distributed energy resources, or DER. Our innovative approach to providing electric vehicle charging station DERs at zero to little out-of-pocket capital expense for our real estate owners and site host unlocks the potential for all families, 777 families in this case, regardless of income, to gain on-site access to fueling where they live. This is not a new business approach or model, rather one that we have collectively as a team and successfully deployed across our real estate partners' properties over the past 17 years. Examples of energy efficiency technologies, which you may be familiar with already, include solar electric systems, solar thermal systems, LED lighting systems, as well as water conservation technologies. Due to historic funding levels across federal, state, and local utilities, available electric vehicle charging station incentive funds, combined with Collectron Energy's industry index experience, assist real estate owners of marginalized communities to achieve this capital improvement without the burden of the capital exposure. As such, not only have we eliminated the high cost or barrier to transportation electrification, our owner and operator model affords us ongoing fees to ensure that our customer experience is as seamless as possible. Collectron Energy's standard 5-year terms provide for maintenance, warranty, repair and replacement, as well as the management of the Collectron Energy electric vehicle charging station network, which means we free up our real estate owners from day-to-day tasks, tenant support calls, and similar, so that they can remain focused on doing what they do best. Next slide. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to tune in to Collectron Energy's Raise Green Auburn Energy Junction LLC Climate Impact Note presentation, and encourage you to dive further into our issued offering right now. I remind you that each of these projects are now fully deployed and our rebate reimbursement process is well underway. As such, I believe you'll find your impactful investment to align immediately with your financial expectation. We look forward to answering any questions through the Q&A section, as well as we'll be providing company updates as they become newsworthy. Have a great day.
Amazing. Thank you, Mike. And next we have Robert Pulitzer, founder and CEO at GreenStreet Global. Robert, take it away.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Robert Pulitzer, founder and CEO of GreenStreet Global. I started the first green building company in New York City in 1998, served as the chair of the New York State Sustainable Business Task Force, and for the past 25 years, I've worked in every facet of commercial real estate. So at GreenStreet Global, we're building on my 25 years of experience in green building construction and development to make it profitable to lower carbon emissions from commercial buildings. So why now? Well, along with our climate crisis, there's an existential threat to human civilization. There are a growing number of local, state, and federal low carbon laws and mandates. In particular, New York City Local Law 97 will be impacting over 50,000 buildings throughout the city that will need to be decarbonized over the coming years. Next slide, please. So real estate accounts for nearly 40% of carbon emissions, and we have to lower those emissions if we will have any chance at averting the worst of the climate crisis. Yet most property owners are convinced that building decarbonization is very costly and disruptive. So we have to make it profitable to gain widespread buy-in from these owners who are the ultimate gatekeepers for their buildings. Next slide, please. Now, there are numerous new clean tech and prop tech companies, some of which you're seeing here today, entering the marketplace around the world, yet it is very hard to find them. And in fact, a large vetted network of clean tech and prop tech vendors will be key to servicing the huge anticipated demand for building decarbonization. Next slide, please. So our unique GreenStreet Global vertically integrated solution begins with our introductory program that includes a site survey and cost-saving strategies, followed by our zero net cost building upgrades with 100% financing, followed by our clean power installations, and then our value-add brokerage for those clients who want to sell their more valuable buildings. Next slide, please. So as some of you may know, building decarbonization is a vast and complex undertaking. And so to simplify, streamline, and automate the entire process of building decarbonization, we're building out our trademarked proprietary AI-powered app that we are calling Decarb IQ, and that will be hugely impactful, not only nationally, but globally. Next slide, please. So while we provide comprehensive project management services, which is what we've been doing for 25 years, it's the vendors who are the tools in our toolbox. And to ensure that we utilize the best and most powerful tools and vendors available, we're continuing to build our vetted marketplace and virtual vendor showcase through our leading edge Web3 platform that we are really, really excited about. Next slide, please. So as an example of our program, our introductory program, here is, next slide, keep going, please. There you go. Here's a case study of one of our intro program projects. We work with a client with 5 multifamily buildings in New York City. We provided this client with over $300,000 in savings opportunities through government incentives, tax saving strategies, and other clean tech and prop tech solutions. So our intro program alone provides tremendous value to clients. And as a commercial real estate person, what I like to say is our program is all about value add. It's a value add strategy for the 21st century. And so to better get an idea and understanding of what we're about at GreenStreet Global, we want to show you this introductory video that we really love and we hope that you find compelling. It will be that much more compelling when it actually runs. There we go.
Introducing GreenStreet Global, where profitability meets carbon reduction in commercial real estate. With increasing low-carbon mandates and buildings accounting for 40% of CO2 emissions, it's crucial to align financial success with building decarbonization goals. Our vertically integrated solution provides added value at each step in the decarbonization of commercial buildings, increasing profitability while reducing carbon emissions. And our AI-powered app will simplify, streamline, and automate every step in the process. We offer cost-saving strategies, zero net cost building upgrades, and value-add brokerage, and a marketplace that provides total financing solutions with vetted clean tech vendors. Simplify transactions with our user-friendly app, managing registration, needs assessment, and confidential documents. Eliminate liabilities from carbon reduction building mandates like NYC Local Law 97. Utilize our building upgrades as part of your value-add program to unleash the full potential of your real estate portfolio. We partner with family offices, REITs, property owners, managers, and asset managers across various sectors to optimize financial returns through collaboration and partnership with industry leaders. Let us upgrade your portfolio toward profitability and sustainability while eliminating your carbon emission regulatory liabilities. GreenStreet Global, pioneering profitable carbon reduction for commercial buildings.
Amazing. Thank you, Robert. And we are excited for our next presenter. I invite up Sherry Segal, co-founder and chief executive officer at Integrity Global Partners. Sherry, take it away.
Thanks so much. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for the opportunity to present to you today. I'm Sherry Segal, CEO and co-founder of Integrity Global Partners. Next slide, please. Part of the global challenge to solving climate change is land use. Today, agriculture, forestry, and other land uses account for 13% of CO2 emissions every year and 23% of all greenhouse gas emissions, mostly due to deforestation. There is now broad consensus that there is no viable path to achieving the 1.5 degree Paris target without protecting and restoring forests, and that nature-based solutions are the most cost-effective solutions to climate change. In fact, 1/3 of the solution to climate change lies in cost-effective natural solutions in the global south. However, such solutions today receive only 2% of global climate finance, and only 17% of finance dedicated to these solutions comes from the private sector. This results in a financing gap of over $830 billion between now and 2030. Next slide, please. The solution is to bring capital to nature-based solutions to start and grow these initiatives, and we can do this through global carbon markets. The voluntary carbon market is currently valued at $2 billion, but is expected to be a $1 trillion market by 2030, with demand from companies reaching 2.6 gigatons per year. This market has the potential to drive critically needed financing to nature-based solutions. Institutional capital providers are ready to come in, and many have already started investing in nature-based solutions, but need an investable pipeline of high-quality projects with attractive returns. High-integrity supply is needed to reduce risk and drive up prices. Next slide, please. Integrity Global Partners was founded last year with the mission to unlock fair and equitable capital at scale to deliver high-integrity environmental assets to market. We do this by working as the central nervous system of the global hub, bringing together best-in-class expertise across technology, technical asset development, pipeline sourcing, and execution to connect mission-driven investment capital with high-quality nature-based projects and jurisdictional programs. We architect every transaction for investors, including asset managers, corporations, and commodity traders. We source pipeline, design, de-risk, and structure projects and deals into viable investments for them. Our major market differentiator is that we build on the existing project developer ecosystem to create bankable investment opportunities by optimizing the financial, social, and environmental returns that can be realized from both greenfield and scalable existing NBS initiatives. Once projects are financed, we take a long-term position through special purpose vehicles that own and operate the project to ensure ongoing delivery of results. Next slide, please. Our unique corporate structure enables us to originate projects and build pipeline at our headco, conduct all of the due diligence and structuring work through individual development companies or devcos that we establish on behalf of investors, and then we own and operate projects at the SPV level, ensuring ongoing delivery of financial and project performance. Investments also come into the company at each of these levels. The crowd fund we are showcasing today is a headco level investment that is enabling us to shape up a project in Malawi to enable further investments directly into a project SPV. Next slide, please. Our all-female founding team are some of the world's leading experts in structured finance, fund management, nature-based project design, and carbon asset development. We have a combined 75+ years of sector experience. Our executive team has been industry leaders leading the creation of some of the most impactful funds in the world and some of the most innovative financing tools for nature. Next slide, please. The success of our nature-based projects depends on ensuring more than carbon outcomes. We focus on a broad range of project types, protecting forests through reduced emissions, through reforestation, and by reducing pressure on existing ecosystems through clean cooking solutions and we pursue a blended portfolio design and take an integrated landscape approach to maximize outcomes for carbon, communities, and biodiversity, and for our investors. Through our global portfolio, we are enabling the deployment of almost $1 billion of capital into these programs globally. We hope you will join us on this journey by contributing to our campaign. Next slide. Thank you very much, and please get in touch with any questions. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. I always love it when I get to see an elephant. It always makes me happy. Thank you, Sherry. Next, I am excited to invite to the stage Peter Kresa, co-founder or co-chair and founder, managing member at National Energy Improvement Fund. Peter, over to you.
Thank you, Kate. I appreciate the opportunity. This is, I think, the 7th offering we've now done, maybe the 8th on the Raise Green platform. And I just wanted to congratulate and thank Franz and Jackie and the entire team on the wonderful work they do in promoting climate investment. The National Energy Improvement Fund is, it's interesting when we saw the elephant on the last slide, you know, the elephant in the room that I'm talking about is more about the underserved market of homeowners and smaller commercial customers and contractors that really deal with essential energy improvements in homes like heating and cooling and insulation and things like that. So we have been, you'll find in the next slide that it's a very fragmented market, but NEIF has been focused on this since our founding in 2018. It's a legacy company to my family's business, founded in 1947, that's really focused on the financing of essential energy improvements and dealing with the problem of affordability of those improvements. Because I think that's kind of the big sticker shock is when a customer is not necessarily motivated by proactive approaches. They're not really thinking about putting solar in or buying a Tesla. They're thinking about my heat pump just blew or my furnace just blew. What do I do? And contractors influence this decision. And in most cases, these are expensive things. These are now $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 kind of improvements. And the only financing options often offered to them are 0% for 6 months and 35% thereafter, or more complex financing solutions. So you end up having customers making improvements that are maybe not in their best interest. And so we've been focused on that market for a long time, trying to help contractors. We have about 1,500 approved independent small business contractors around the country, provide fair and equitable and trusted financing to consumers and small business owners. Contractors have tremendous cash constraints. They need to see cash flow come through, and they need to have low fee programs. Oftentimes, many of the financing programs that you'll see, like even in the solar space, they may seem like very enticing offers. They may, it's 3.99 financing, when in fact we know, the mortgage rates still are in the 7% rate. The reason why they're so low is that the contractor is being charged an enormous dealer buy down fee by the lender, and that ultimately gets passed on to the consumer. So that's an issue that we've dealt with by having transparent financing. Many of these same financing programs offered by traditional finance company lenders through contractors are generic. They're credit card kind of programs and things that you might use to buy a mattress, but maybe not the right thing for a $25,000 heat pump or efficient systems. And then the intersection, this was interesting, you heard a lot of talk about financing from many of the presenters, and all doing fantastic things. But when you drill down to it, there are market-based programs, and then there are programs supported by states and utilities and government. And that's where NEIF really steps in. We have been doing this for an awful long time, being the facilitator of those programs. And with the IRA programs coming into place and other federal funding, they incentivize programs to offer even better rates to consumers. An example might be like in New Jersey, we currently run 3 of the financing programs for the utilities that it is true 0% financing for high efficiency heat pumps being supported by the utilities. So there is no cost to the contractor, no cost to the consumer, and that all works great. So if you could move to the next slide, please. So we focus on essential improvements for electrification and energy. And we, again, come back to a heritage dating back to 1947, but we organize as a B corporation because we believe that's the value set that we want our staff and our contractors and our customers to represent. It's all about essential improvements like heating, roofing, lighting, battery storage. We're a supervised lender in 32 states, or a regulated financial institution, and we also offer commercial programs in about 40 utility programs across the country. This state green bank, a term of art you're hearing now, is now coming into play. We've been named the new administrator of the Pennsylvania Green Bank, working with the Delaware Green Bank and a number of other states, all to help things go. So if you can move to the next slide, Kate, or Lauren, I'm sorry. We've been highly successful in developing this business and having a mature business that's growing rapidly. The investment in NEIF is all about helping increase that affordability by allowing us to expand our reach and products to consumers and contractors, and helping them build their businesses and grow their businesses while providing the best possible product to their customers and end users. About 50% of our loans go to low to moderate income households, just in the nature of our business. So we have a broad reaching and active program. Final slide, please. You'll see our highly experienced and smiling faces there. We have a great team working to help contractors and consumers, and you can find out more about us on our offering page on Race Green. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Peter. And as you can see, Thomas has been posting to the chat links to everybody's offering page and also places to ask questions of our presenters. So feel free to please direct questions there. Our issuers and presenters are very excited to get to answer any questions that you may have. And now over to our final presentation of the day. So excited to introduce our last presenter, Ken Tarlow, President of Power to the World. Ken, over to you.
Hi there, my name is Ken Tarlow. Over my career, I've developed over 1,000 products worth over $1 billion in retail sales as a industrial design engineer, which is the work that I've been doing. At this point in my career, I've really decided to focus on projects that help the climate, because that's the biggest need that we have here in the world. Here we go. So to the first slide. I've designed a product that helps people put their toe in the water of solar power generation. Basically, most people, in order to experience solar power, have to make a large investment in roof panels and things like that. I wanted to have a product that allows people to have the experience of solar power generation without spending a lot of money and without having any technical skills that might be needed as far as wiring things together and things like that. So the solution I have is what we call a power pack. The first component of the power pack is a 20 by 20 inch, very lightweight solar panel. Underneath it is a little drawer with a removable battery. This can be placed anywhere in your backyard, or your patio, anywhere where there's a little bit of sun. Next slide, please. Go to the next slide. There we go. So the other part of the power pack assembly is the console that you see on your left. A small console, it's like the size of a DVD player, something like that. And the battery that was underneath the solar panel can now be plugged into the console. The console has two 110 AC receptacles and a couple of USB ports. So you can plug in any of your lightweight household appliances, your computer, a lamp, recharging your phone, other items that can be run by this very compact charging device. And so it gives regular folks the ability and the experience of powering items in their home without plugging in to the wall. They get free electricity. They experience the joy and independence of solar electricity. And it helps them feel like they're part of the solution rather than part of the problem as far as climate change. And also might make them more amenable to the idea of putting rooftop solar or supporting solar on a larger scale. So this industry, portable solar generators, is an existing industry. Next slide, please. Currently, it's about a $500 million a year industry. These portable solar generators are used by campers, by RVers, or by regular people. If there are power outages, this gives you a way to plug things in so you're not left in the dark. This industry is expected to rise to about $1 billion a year within the next 10 years or so. We would like to capture just a couple of % of this market, which would give us a very profitable company. Our solar power generator is different and better than the ones that are currently available. It is patent pending. Our $250 price point is very, very competitive. There's no other solar power generator out there that can match us in terms of price. The separate battery pack is really neat because you can unplug the battery from the solar panel, plug it into your indoor unit, and then take a second battery and plug it into the solar panel. So you're constantly charging one battery while you're using the other battery. Other benefits are that well, there are many other benefits. There's overcharge protection. There's as I said earlier, there's no wiring necessary. You take this right out of the box and you use it immediately. One of the best things that we're going to be doing with the product is that for every 2 units sold, we're going to give 1 unit to a family in the world, one of the 1 billion people in the world that has no access to electricity. We actually sent one of our units to a family in Kenya that has no access to electricity, and they're able to charge their phone and do other things without walking 10 miles to the nearest village to charge their phone up. It was a life-changing experience for them. So our model is every 2 units sold, we're going to give a unit to somebody who needs electricity. The next slide. The other thing that I want to mention here is that for every $1,000 you invest, we're going to give you a free power pack system, the solar panel and the indoor unit, a charging unit. So if you invest $10,000, we'll give you 10 free power pack units. So that's our way of thanking you for participating in this process. We're going to be using the money to manufacture our first production run of units, and we'll be getting them out there within the next 6 months. And thank you very much for listening to my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Amazing. Thank you, Ken. And thank you all the presenters. This was, I love that we get to, 1, be part of this, and 2, that you chose Raise Green. And for you, the viewers, thank you so much for joining us. And we hope that this was a very instructional and wonderful way to spend an hour of your day. So huge virtual applause for our presenters. And again, any questions, please direct them to the issuers page, which Thomas has linked in the chat. You can also find them by going to invest.raisegreen.com and clicking on anybody's issuer page. So with that, I will turn it over to Franz to close us out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kate. Thank you as well to Eric, Hanan, David, Mike, Robert, Sherry, Peter, and Ken. You all are inspiring, and your presentations are excellent. Frankly, you are the climate heroes at the front lines of this fight, and you give me hope that humanity can tackle the climate crisis and do it in an equitable and inclusive way. So a big thank you also to all of our attendees, anyone listening. If you're a potential investor on the line and thinking about investing, remember a few things. It's completely free to create an investor account. Please ask questions of the issuers on their offering pages. If you have questions for Raise Green, you can direct them to info@raisegreen.com. Education is key, and we want everyone to learn and inform themselves about what all these opportunities mean. And we're more than happy to take the time with you to do that. You can invest as little as $100 for many of the offerings, and you can invest as an individual, as an entity, a trust, a company, or as an institutional investor as well, including through your own self-directed individual retirement account if you have one. We also have an investor referral program. So if you have got a buddy who wants to put some money in to the clean energy economy or climate investing, you can get 25% off of, $25 for your investment for referring a friend who creates an investor account. So now is a better time than ever to put your money to work and to make your money do good. And if you want to follow in the footsteps of these climate heroes and join the ranks that are developing clean energy projects and climate companies in your neighborhood or across the country, let us know that as well. You can email us at originators@raisegreen.com, or you can go on to Get Funded on raisegreen.com and fill out a survey, and we'll be in touch about next steps. So lastly, I just want to give a very special thank you to the phenomenal team that we have here at Raise Green that made this day possible. It's our largest investor day ever. So super special thanks to our Chief of Staff, Lauren Hale, our Head of Growth, Kate Drain, who you've just heard from as our MC, and our Head of Community, Thomas Guest, who worked tirelessly, all of them, to make this our biggest and most successful investor day yet. So the future is bright. We appreciate your involvement, engagement with the community, and onward and upward, as we say at Raise Green. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful week.